Warning, this web TV show has been created by a radical warrior man for modern radical warrior men. If you are not a warrior male who is ready to be liberated, are easily offended, or generally just a pussy, save yourself now and stop this life-liberating video immediately. Although created for warrior men, warrior women are always welcome.
Hey everybody, this is Garrett J. White, the Master Coach Mentor and creator of the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, where I take unique male warrior entrepreneurs on a 90-day journey of discovery of what it takes to have it all. Have it all in their bodies, ripped and shredded. Have it all in their beingness and their spiritual connection and personal certainty and power. Have it all in the balance of their marriage and their significant relationships with their children and others. And ultimately to have it in business and to fill up your bank accounts like ways you've never seen before. For more information on this amazing 90-day program, check it out today at wakeupwarrior.com. In today's episode, we're going to cover 3 powerful conversations. Conversation number 1. God wants you to master marketing and sales. Conversation number 2 is that your personal accountability is the foundation to having personal power. And conversation number 3, bow bow wow, bow bow wow, is that your sexual energy is the source of your creative power. Welcome to episode number 9 here at Wake Up Warrior TV. Let's get started now. Conversation number 1. God wants you to master marketing and sales. Now, I realize that this might seem a bit of a stretch, and it might seem a bit counterintuitive to the way you think. It might be counterintuitive to the way you were raised. You might have even been raised to believe, warrior, that your business life and your personal life are separate and distinct. Did you ever get asked a conversation that kind of went like this? Well, this is my professional life, and I don't want to get personal in my professional life. You realize what a crock of shit this is, right? Your personal life is your professional life. Your professional life is your personal life. And in today's marketplace, we've blended the two. This means that your spiritual power and your productive power come from the same place, my friend. I remember one day I was sitting there with somebody and they said, oh, listen, you can't get paid for your divine gifts. All this spiritual talk, all this talk about God, besides the fact that you fucking cuss all the time, plus you talk about God in the same sentence, you can't possibly be enlightened. Anyways, this idea, I sat with this guy one day, this attorney, and he's like, you can't do those things. I said, let me get this straight. You get paid as an attorney for the stuff you suck at? You tell me that you get paid for your gifts that come from darkness? Hell no. You know that you get paid from your divine gifts, the things that are uniquely powerful and strong within you? And where did those come from? You call it God, universe, energy, vibration, harmony, or the out there-ness. Regardless of what you call it, I'm going to have you consider that at the source of all movement in production in your business and all desire to produce in your life is a source called God. Now, this God itself that's in us is calling forth to us to bring about messages. Well, what is marketing then? Marketing is nothing more than bringing awakening. Look at the connection between these two. Marketing brings awareness. Marketing brings awakening. Marketing itself puts messages out into the marketplace. Some of the greatest prolific marketers of our planet's history were gentlemen like Buddha, Krishna, Jesus Christ, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, you name it. And I'm talking about people who felt called, brother, to share a message with the world. But let me tell you what it feels like to sit in the back of your closet with a message to share with the world and not a damn person to talk to. Yeah, that's about what it sounds like. Nothing's going on. Which means, number 1, you must become committed to being a powerful marketer and being able to create awareness in the marketplace for your message. The second piece of this is selling. Selling itself is nothing more than engaging action. It is persuasion. It is influence. And all messages that are being brought to awareness in a marketplace must have behind them a force of reckoning, a force that brings possibility, a force that brings about a new form of action. See, my marketing creates a new way of thinking. My sales creates a new way of doing. And when you blend these two, your marketing and your sales or your persuasion, what you have is revolution. What you have is creation. What you have is possibility in other people's lives. This is what I believe Jesus Christ meant in the New Testament when he said the following: unto he who hath eyes to see, let him see and perceive. Right? Well, this whole seeing thing comes about by marketing. This whole being thing comes about from sales, which means if you're still stuck in an archaic bullshit conversation of stories of truth in your own mind, that your marketing and your sales is somehow something, ew, it's dirty, I don't want to touch it, it's bloody dirty, it's dirty, it's dirty. Guess what? Wake up. Welcome to the game today. Every major leader who's walked the planet was a prolific marketer and a hardcore sales pro. Conversation number 2. Your personal accountability is the foundation of your personal production. Now, I'm going to slow this one down for a moment because I need you to get it, warrior. I need you to feel it, warrior. I need it to penetrate the 6 inches of real estate between your ears and ultimately to penetrate to your heart and soul. My marriage itself was a fucking train wreck. My first marriage was a fucking train wreck. And guess what the common thread was between my first marriage that was a fucking train wreck and my second marriage that was a fucking train wreck? Guess what it was? Me. Now, I could sit around all day long and give you a list about this long of all the reasons why my ex-wife was this and she was that and she was this and she was that and she was this. I could give you another list about this long. The reason why my present wife, who, by the way, we are good to go, we are straight, we are solid, we have created a new life, brother. But prior to creating that new life, I have my list of all the reasons why she was this and she was that and she was this and she was that, and I was a helpless little victim. What I like to call this in the warrior way is not just a victim, it's a fucking pussy. That's who I was. Now, I'm not going to speak for you, I'm going to speak for myself. I sat in my life at that time in both of these relationships unwilling to speak the words of personal accountability, unwilling to look into the mirror at my own creation. I was unwilling to look into the dark areas of my life and of my relationship. I was unwilling to even conceive the possibility that the shit that was going down in my life, that the relationship problems that I was having was not the other person's fault. That maybe, just maybe, the guy who was the biggest douchebag in the equation was me. Now, when you're a victim, brother, you can't see this. All you can see is your projection out on the marketplace filled and blanketed up with this big, huge sheet of bullshit I call blame. Blaming other people. Blaming your wife for your life. Blaming your parents for the way things are. Blaming the government. Blaming everyone around you. And the last thing that you actually consider is the possibility that you, motherfucker, are the reason you got problems. See, there's some power that comes into this. If you sit as a victim and everything is somebody else's fault, then you cannot have the power to recreate your life because you find yourself in a prison held captive by those around you. If my life itself is always about a result that doesn't fundamentally come down to me, then brother, you are blind as hell to the possibilities that could happen in your life. I want you to consider that the only place of power is to claim all of your creation, to bring it all in close to you, and to realize that the trigger mechanism within the warrior mind is to be a victim and to slay people around us for the discomfort that we feel inside. So then what's the answer? See, if it's not about blaming other people, then this is where warriors will go also. They go to shame. They go to internal destruction, and that's where I went. I began to shame myself once I realized how much I blamed the marketplace, blamed my wife, and blamed so many other people for the results of my life. And to blame or to shame, both are a blanket of bullshit. Just one we throw on the world, and the other one we wrap ourselves in. No, power, my brother, comes through claiming, not blaming, not shaming, but claiming the fact that your life itself has been a life based on choices. And the question is, what have you learned? See, as you claim all of these creations, you claim all of these reasons, you claim all of the way that life is because you built it that way, guess what's available to you, my brother? An opportunity to create something different. So claiming your game instead of shaming or blaming the world is the access point and the foundation of personal power. Conversation number 3. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. I'm breaking out some serious old school songs I remember hearing in high school. Now let's get to the point here in conversation number 3, which is that your sexual energy is the driving force and power of your creation. Now the first time I started to see this was really through a book by Napoleon Hill called Laws of Success. And he's talking about this idea of sexual transmutation. I know, it's a big word. It sounds all weird, freaky deaky, right? Sexual transmutation. Let's look at both these. Sexual, pretty easy. Sexual drive, coming from the growing area. The internal energy in itself that drives you. That's why you can see a beautiful woman walking by at the grocery store, walking by your office, your secretary, your wife, your friend, whoever it is. You see a woman walk by and it's like, woo, all right, I'm good to go. And there's a shot of energy that comes because that sexual energy is power of creation. If you take down to the fundamental core of all creation, the most epic of all creations is the fact that the woman you're with can create babies. That you were created in the womb of a powerful warrior woman goddess. This itself, this powerful creation gets misinterpreted though. We start to think that just because I get turned on that somehow I need to get laid. Somehow I get turned on that somehow I got to release this energy. What I'm going to have you consider is what Napoleon Hill had me consider years ago, almost a decade ago, that I did not understand the first time. His whole idea was, listen, if this sexual energy is all around you, what if you could harness that energy? Instead of immediately going to porn and jerking off, or trying to find somebody to get laid with, trying to convince your wife it's time for sex at 2 p.m. Instead of this, what happens, my brother, if you as a warrior started to look at this sexual energy different? What if you started to operate like the artists of the past who used muses, beautiful women, to turn them on, but they didn't go off and say, hey, baby, what's going down? You want to get a little something in there? No, the conversation was different. They understood something that I have come on to understand that you are on your path, hopefully, to understanding, which is actual release of ejaculation at some fundamental level is an extraction of your power. Think about this. The last time you had sex, you got done. Were you like fired up, doing jumping jacks, ready to run around up and down the street? Hell no. If anything, you were like, give me a cigar, I want to lay back and relax. My wife and I, the last epic amount of sex that we had here just before she went out of town for 2 weeks. You can tell what I'm talking about. That's why we're on this topic. Because for the last 2 weeks while she's been in Italy, it's been by my lonesome, and I've learned how to harness this energy. And it's actually been the most productive 2 weeks of business in the last year. Now, this whole idea then is not about trying to get to release. And I'm not talking her down in the idea that you need to have some sex. I get that. I understand that. I want you to have some orgasms. Good for you. It's part of the human game. It's part of the physical game. And it's definitely part of the warrior game. But I'm going to have you consider it doesn't need to happen as much as you think it does. And that your business and that your body and that your balance in life and that your breakthroughs would come if you could suck that stuff up instead of constantly wanting to push it out through your penis. You pulled it up into your heart and into your mind, and you pointed that shit at the things you wanted to create. Now, I've had hundreds and hundreds of men, and predominantly my guys in the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, practice this discipline of sexual transmutation, which is stimulation that drives the sexual energy up. And instead of constantly looking for, how do I release? And being a knucklehead and defaulting to porn and jerking off, or then trying to go have sex, you said, dude, what if there was a different option? What if the modern warrior is not trying to run around and spray a seed everywhere? What if the modern warrior understands that sexual energy itself was given as a gift for creation? What if you, warrior, could change the game in your life instead of being prone to an addict online or being prone to an addiction of needing someone or needing something outside of you? You could pull it up and you could push it out. That's my challenge to you as we wrap up up this episode? What would happen if you were not a slave to your sexual desire? What would happen to you, brother, if you didn't listen to all the bullshit and all the hip hop and a lot of the music that's out there that's telling you what? That's telling you gotta get some, you gotta get some, you gotta get that booty, you gotta get that ass, you know what? Maybe at some level that's fundamentally true. I get it. I'm as sexual as you are. But beside of this too, there's a whole lot more to do in life than just get laid. So what if you could have it all? What if the sexual energy was the actual drive to allow you to create in life at higher levels of power? And what if you challenged and you channeled that energy, it actually took you to a place way beyond simply the drive of release, but it became the drive of expansion? Yeah! Welcome to the end of episode number 9 here at Wake Up Warrior TV. Now, like every single week, I'm going to remind you that if you have resonated with the message here in this particular video, there are 2 things I'd like you to do. First thing is go check out a free 4-part video series I've created online found at wakeupwarrior.com. During these 4 videos, I'm going to walk you through what conversation we call the Warrior's Dilemma. Then we're going to walk into the warrior's path. And in video 3, we're going to walk into the warrior's code. And then finally, video number 4, I'm going to walk you through the warrior's key top 10 questions. So go check out that video training today for more deep dive training on these topics and how to live it and have it all as a modern warrior today. For the rest of you who got value from today's episode, you know what to do. Share it up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Google+, bing! And have a fantastic week as we continue to wake up warriors all around the world. As we come to a conclusion in today's episode, remember, my brother, the power in today's marketplace as a modern male warrior entrepreneur comes down to one simple formula, the formula of authenticity. Be real, get raw, stay relevant today.
Aw yeah, you know what to do now. Head on over to wakeupwarrior.com for 4 free video trainings now.